I was telling Lizzie because I was telling her we were doing this topic, and then I was like, they have the new commercial for the latest game, and they have that wrestler guy who is in the Guardians of the Galaxy movie,
Dave Bautista.
Yeah, but I forgot his name, so I said I thought his name was John Bautista, and then and she's like, no, it's Dave Bautista, and I'm like, oh yeah, John Bautista is the guy who fucking suplexes Jesus into the river, and then it's like, brother, your sins are forgiven. Anyway, this one's about Mortal Kombat. Mortal Kombat!
Biblical jokes!
All right, we're coming in now. You know what? We're already into the episode.
Oh, nice.
That's how fast it was. Seamless. You guys did. Everyone listening at home, you've missed nothing. Okay. I think we should have a good, fun, positive stream. You know, I think it's well. Okay. Here's a little background in my life. As I'm getting older, and as I am actually, I'm like a dust bummy, but I am meeting new people. You know, we're going to conventions every once in a while. We're meeting industry people. You know, eventually we do meet people who write stories for video games and stuff like that. And maybe that is making me sort of reconsider like going around dunking on everything, which in fairness, the Doom one, pretty dumb sometimes. But it comes from a place of love. You know, I love video games and I love talking about them. And there's a lot of stuff in Doom I thought was really cool. And maybe I like didn't do a good enough job, you know, saying that, because, you know, real people worked on it. And like, I'm sure someone had a vision at some point. But I think a lot of the times when you get the really bad lore, it's like, I assume there's working on committee, right? Like there's no one person who's like, oh yeah, I think there should be an ancient alien race and they should interact with another ancient alien race that's unrelated. They just happen to also exist. And I guess maybe hell is like a different planet in a different reality. That's kind of neat, but also it's a bunch of planets over many realities. I don't know.
Mm-hmm. See, I always assumed exactly the opposite, that every team has that one guy who is maybe a Nepo baby or something, but he brings up really, really awful ideas that they have to use.
Okay. Well, then I feel okay dunking on that guy. Now that you've personified him a little bit more in a way that I find distasteful.
What's the guy? Is it David Cage that he was behind like Detroit Become Human and stuff like that?
Yeah.
You can just picture him, I think.
Yeah, there's definitely listen, we just got out of the writer's strike, which good on you. Also, some game studios are unionizing, which Godspeed. I mean, I'm a big proponent of that meme of I want worse video games that people work less hours on.
No, it's I want games less often that take more time to make.
Yeah.
And are worse.
And I mean it. Yeah. I do feel that. I think the games industry people are, which is also another reason I'm like, it's not totally fair to these guys. But
it's like they're already making bad games and making them
right,
putting a lot of money into them. Might as well slow down.
We're not gonna stop yet at making fun of bad stuff. But I know that people worked hard on it, and like there's good things to love about it too. I do love it. I always said I thought Digimon was stupid, and then I researched it and did 2 episodes on it, and now I'm Digimon's greatest ally and champion. If anyone speaks ill of Digimon, I will fight them. I'll digi-fight them.
I'll go to the United Nations and I will tell them.
See, my most recent example is I have been showing CJ Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
Mm-hmm.
And CJ, especially at the very beginning, was like, this is so extremely stupid.
It's really not good.
And I was like, you don't understand. That's why I like this.
I didn't
like,
know. I thought it was like good. Like everyone always talks about it.
Well,
and
it
they're
was
like,
good in the 90s.
I will say, every time I ask Lizzie about it, and she's like, oh, I didn't really like this part about it, but that's like the part we're watching. So I'm like, okay.
It's really only later seasons.
She's like, I didn't really watch the first season. I didn't know it was like this. And then she's like, and I don't really like the later seasons. And I'm like, how many seasons were there? There's not that many, right?
Listen, there's
like
a
5.
little sliver in the middle that I mostly imagined in my own
They
head.
really hit their
That's-
stride.
And that's what people like, and that's great. That's what we're here to do. And that's what we're here to do on The Lore You Know, a podcast where 3 friends and sometimes more dive into the fantastical and often convoluted lore of the media you know and love. I didn't even mess it up as like a joke this time.
Yeah,
I did
good
it for
job.
real.
Yeah, wow.
And here to bring you the mostly correct facts this week are me, CJ.
Oh, I'm Ethan.
And I'm Liz. I'm back filling in for the role of girl.
We're so happy to have you, Lizard X Lizard. It's always hard to get a hold of you. I'm pretty sure I will have cropped your arm out of my video when I post this to YouTube, but you are in fact right behind me, both in physical space but also emotionally, and that's important. So thanks for that.
You're welcome.
See, we're doing
Gross.
positivity.
Yeah. I want to
Shut
talk.
up, Ethan.
I want
that
to
out.
talk about uppercuts and blood and stuff.
This is a wholesome podcast. God damn it!
I will turn this podcast around. Well, Ethan, do I have some good news from you? This is one of those ones where, fortunately, for the purpose of me trying to be positive, everyone knows that this one's really stupid. It's almost kind of stupid on purpose, which is one of the reasons I didn't know if we wanted to get into it. But the latest game came out recently, and it is kind of like, it's very silly and fun. Like, they are obviously doing it on purpose at some points. And then, as we have seen in other series, as you may or may not know, you can check out Doom or Street Fighter or any of the numerous multi-parters that just get very stupid as time goes on. I think this one was probably trying to be more and more serious as time goes on, but made it more and more dumb as time goes on. Because there doesn't need to... Okay, Mortal Kombat has 99 playable characters the last time I checked. And
I didn't know that.
And every one of them has their own dumbass story for their, like, whatever storyline you play through, for campaign mode.
Wow.
Or it's called Conquest with a K.
We spell everything with a K.
They
We
should be
do,
careful
and-
with that.
Yeah, we'll get into a little bit of that later. But you can't have 99 flawlessly interlocking storylines. Like, you can't do it.
I mean, like, 80 of those are just different colored ninja boys. So.
We'll get into that too, Ethan. It's insane.
I do want to preface that I don't think I know a single thing about Mortal Kombat, like, at all.
That's fantastic. That's
Love it.
fantastic.
Like, I think, especially when you guys did Street Fighter, I was like, okay, I kind of vaguely have, like, osmosised this
Right.
a little bit over the
Pop
years
culture.
of pop culture. Mortal Kombat, I'm like, that's the one where they yell Mortal Kombat.
Hell yeah, it is.
And, like, that's about where
And-
it starts and ends. I do also, like, I can picture some of the characters. I'll be like, I think that's a Mortal Kombat guy. But
Yeah, and I will preface too, I didn't watch the movie for this one. There are Mortal Kombat movies. I did not get a chance.
I remember hearing they're really bad. I
Yeah,
remember
but people
that.
like them. They're like bad.
Okay.
Good. People enjoy
good, bad.
those.
The first one is it's actually like pretty B movie good, you know?
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah, people like it.
The second one is bad. It's just
Okay.
bad.
I thought the Doom movie was B movie good, but people dunk on that one. It's just really weird what people decide is actually kind of good.
Everyone has a different level of
Right.
tolerance for stupidity.
Like I think the
In movies.
the Super Mario Brothers movie 93 is good, but everyone who worked
It
on it said
is.
that it ruined their lives. So I don't know. I don't know who to believe.
I mean, true art will ruin the life of the maker.
true
That's
art is
true. Van
true
Gogh
art is
had
divisive.
to destroy himself because he was so good at art, I assume. I don't actually know that much about art.
Well, I'm hoping you do know much about Mortal Kombat.
Of course. And I am going to say right off the top, not a good sign when I start my research and the first line that I read on the wiki is at the beginning of time, because then I know I'm going to have a bad time.
Dude,
Wow,
I
we're
love
going
that.
Far back.
But that's because it's happened like 4 times in a row now, by the way. I've done a different creation myth so many times. I feel like a pagan.
Yeah, I
But
love it.
what we have here for Mortal Kombat is the entire timeline. It is not told chronologically. The games are kind of chronological, but they do that thing where they flash back and be like, actually, though, this was also a thing that had happened at the past that never came up before.
Bit of a J.K. Rowling approach.
Yeah, exactly. You guys want to learn about Mortal Kombat with a K?
Yeah.
Yes.
More than anything.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, as I mentioned, there are, as far as I'm aware, 99 characters in Mortal Kombat. Maybe it's more with the latest game. We're not going to get into the lore of the latest game.
That is so many.
It's a lot. If you're afraid of spoilers for the new game, well, spoiler for this episode won't matter for the lore for that game, as will be revealed at the end. So if you were hoping, sorry. There's like one thing I could say that is all you need to know about the new one. But the other thing is that there's something like 13 mainline games for Mortal Kombat, and then there's also movies, and then in the same vein as the Street Fighter episodes, there's a bunch of non-canonical endings that are, basically every fighter's victory condition. But those are all equally valid. I'll show you what I mean later. Don't
quite a
worry about it.
franchise.
However, we're going to take it nice and easy breezy with the lore to get started. So obviously we're going to start at the beginning of all time when there was the one being. But there were also the Titans, and there were also the Elder Gods.
So there wasn't just the one.
And also, the one being is completely irrelevant to literally everything. He never shows up and is only ever talked about in the abstract. So
Wait, so they were like, in the beginning, there was one guy, but there was
Yep.
also other guys.
yeah, maybe,
Anyway.
maybe they didn't want to rub wrongly against the Christians, because again, Mortal Kombat was one of the 2 games. Yeah, that's the.
They were like, listen, if we're going to get Christian moms on our side with our Mortal Kombat game here, we will have to acknowledge the one true God.
I'm sure you can find a passage in the Bible where it's like, if you engage another in one-on-one combat and to the death, that's fine. We're cool with that. That's totally legit.
And the Lord saith, finish him.
It does make sense they didn't want to get on anyone perhaps that is a more uptight, get any more on their bad side, because one thing I do know about Mortal Kombat is some of its more like culture changes and things in our pop culture, because it was such a controversy about how violent it was when it came out.
That's the one piece of real game lore or real world lore from the game that you'll get from this episode. So Mortal Kombat is credited as one of the 2 games that was the genesis for the ESRB, which is the system of rating games, like E for everyone, T for teen, rated M for mature, all of that stuff. Everyone was upset that Mortal Kombat came out, and it was too violent.
And there was like blood and
There was
stuff
blood.
and-
Nintendo had to censor the blood in the home console version of the Mortal Kombat game, so they made it green. But there is a cheat code in there that lets you turn the blood red again, which is like it's so weird. The problem is I know the exact people who, when they were kids, they were like, ugh, green blood, this is lame and stupid. Oh, color swatch it to red though. Oh, that's now it's
we're
cool and
talking.
epic. It's like, okay, it's the same. It's literally the same. Everything else. But yeah, it was that and Night Trap. Maybe we'll do a Night Trap episode one day. Probably not, though. That game is kind of lame.
I don't even know that game.
Well, you can see boobies in it, and that's the other reason. That
Oh,
they came
wait,
up
I
with
do
the
know this
ESRB.
game.
Yeah.
The boobies jogged my memory for some reason when you
For
said
some
it.
reason. Who can say why? So, in the beginning, there is the one being, and all the titans and the gods, the elder gods. And it's implied that the titans, I think it's kind of a Greek thing where like the titans beget the elder gods. And we don't talk about that too much, though, because during the game, as we'll talk about later, a person can just become an elder god. They don't have to be born an elder god, but also some people are born elder gods, but also the elder gods have children that aren't elder gods.
So we can be born old.
Yeah, well, elder gods just mean they're kind of in charge. Basically,
Okay.
and again, this is all very nebulous because, they don't go into it too much, but the one being was like siphoning the power of the elder gods, and the elder gods didn't like that. And the titans, although they were stronger than the elder gods, don't like participate a lot in this story. So the elder gods are like, all right, we're going to take down the one being, and then we're going to be in charge, and that's going to be pretty cool. So what they did is they do that thing where they like kill a god and like split him into 6 parts. And then those 6 parts become the 6 realms, the 6 main realms, because there are many minor realms that show up every once in a while whenever they need a new spot. Whenever they need a new spot to banish a person. But we don't care about those. We just care about the 6 main realms.
Wait, so far this setup is just there was one guy, except there was other guys.
Uh-huh.
And there were also some other guys, and they were fighting. There are gods, and you can become a god, but also you can be born a god. So it doesn't super
Right.
matter. And also, some gods fought each other, and they split one into many pieces, and there's lots of realms. Also, there are some other realms that are not one of the big, most important realms, and they keep adding to it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, you pretty much nailed it.
Yeah,
All right.
beautiful summation. Yeah.
Very, okay.
That is, that's the Mortal
Very
Kombat
much a
Genesis.
nothing really matters setup. All right.
Yeah, it's weird. It's almost like they just they were like, I don't know, come up with some reason for this to
Okay.
happen. And this isn't any game yet. This is just background lore you get throughout the games.
Okay.
About like the, creation of the universe or whatever. But one thing that is pretty consistent, and by the way, I pulled some of this off of the WB official website because I guess WB owns Mortal Kombat now.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And they have a page called the Mortal Kombat storyline, which I thought would help, but the page is like 4 paragraphs long and says almost nothing. And I'm like, oh, okay, so this is worthless garbage. Thanks. But one thing that is consistent, there are 6 realms, and they are very important to the story. We have Nether Realm, which is hell, basically.
Okay, obviously.
We have Outworld, which is, I don't know, it's like the dark realm, kinda. There's a lot of like hell aesthetics, but it's not hell. That's Nether
It's
Realm.
just like goth world.
Yeah, I guess they'll have like people wearing bones and stuff.
Okay.
That kind of shit. Those 2 are some of the more important ones. There's also Chaos Realm and Order Realm. I'll let you guess what those are all about.
They're lame.
One is about chows from
Sonic Adventure,
and the other
yep.
one is about ordering.
Yeah,
at
McDonald's
Starbucks.
orders. That's where your orders to McDonald's go, and then they switch them
Okay.
around, and then you never get the right thing.
Mhm.
That's exactly right. And there is Edenia, which is a perfect utopian world, like Eden. So it's Edenia.
Okay.
That one almost doesn't really matter at all, except some of the fighters are from there. And there's a little place called Earthrealm, which you may have heard of because it is Earth. But
Okay.
Sounds kind of lame.
Yeah.
I have a very important question.
yeah.
Which parts of the one god became which realms? Which realm is the penis?
Yeah, I was gonna, so you want to know which one the penis was. Well, Ethan, very telling of you that you assumed the one being at the beginning of all time was a man, but okay, whatever.
I'm a good Christian.
I don't know, but what I do know is that every realm has a associated kamidogu, which means god tool or god clay, depending on how you translate it, I guess. But the essence of that realm is held within the kamidogu for that realm. And so if you collect all 6 kamidogu, well, A, you can't because only one kamidogu per person. So if you're a person, if you're one entity, you can only control one kamidogu at a time. But at a certain point, I think someone tries to get around this by combining the 6 kamidogu into one kamidogu, so then they can have the power of all 6 in one, which is a pretty good workaround, in fairness. And also, there's actually 7, but don't worry about that yet. Great.
Wait, what actually is the kamidogu? Is it
They're
a
like
person?
talismans.
Okay, they're talismans.
Yeah, they're think of like the goddess pearls from the Ocarina of Time.
Sure.
Where they just kind of are like gems embedded in like a bronze kind of outline.
Who put the rule of only one per person?
I think that's just like a physical limitation. But again, please don't ask too.
All I'm thinking.
Listen, you can ask as many follow-up questions as you want, but there is like a limit to how far I could go into any one thing because I'll say this up front. Again, no shade, we're a positive podcast, but the Mortal Kombat wiki that I read is the worst wiki I have ever read. It is like almost illegible. It was like a kindergartner wrote it, or like a middle schooler trying to reach their word count was writing it. It really is like, there are some truly abysmal sentences in there. So as always, I do watch all the cutscenes and figure out what's actually going on with this one. But I
wanted to say is that when the only one per person, I was thinking of like teaching and handing out suckers and being like, no, only one per person.
No, there's no higher entity to like limit any of this because again, that guy is the thing that's getting divvied out.
We cut his penis off and made it into Outrealm. I'm gonna call it right there.
That's what you're gonna say. All right, I will say Earthrealm is the bosom.
Oh, nice.
Okay.
Yeah, that's pretty sick for us. And that's pretty sick for everyone else, too, because for some reason, the other realms tend to want Earthrealm. I think it's implied that Earthrealm is kind of resource-rich compared to the other realms, and so it's very valuable.
Why would the Utopian realm not be the desirable one?
I don't know, man.
There's
some fuckery there too.
I mean, they're like, it's perfect here, but it's kind of boring.
I will say, Chaos Realm and Order Realm almost never come up unless you're like talking about the deep lore. But I'll just say the one thing I'll say about that is Order Realm wants to invade Chaos Realm because Chaos Realm has a surplus of water. Which is just a thing that I found on the internet.
Wait, Order Realm wants to...
Order Realm doesn't have enough water, so they're trying to take it from Chaos Realm. They obviously
who's the one
oppose
being chaotic now?
Yeah, they obviously oppose each other.
We like to separate all of our hydrogen and oxygen to keep it ordered.
No mixing. The entropy's too high. We must take your water though, because we're so thirsty.
We're very thirsty.
All right. So, this is where we are now. And as I said, some of the realms get a little bit antsy and are invading each other all the time. And it's just too much chaos. And the elder gods who are trying to
There's too much of chaos?
Yeah, well, Chaos Realm likes that, but Order Realm doesn't like that. So again, a lot of friction there. So the elder gods basically say, listen, guys, doing fighting, that's just natural, I guess. I mean, that's just going to happen. But you can't be doing it all the time. We need some rules established here.
We could make a game out of this.
And because we've all seen Yu Yu Hakusho, what we've decided is that if you want to invade a realm, that's totally fine. But you have to follow the rules. And the rules say that in order to invade a realm, you have to do the following. It is as such. There will be a series of 10 tournaments, each occurring every 50 years at maximum. The winner of that tournament will be allowed to live for 50 additional years without aging so that they are allowed to compete in the next tournament. If one realm wins 10 tournaments in a row over the course of 500 years, then the realm that champion is the champion for will be allowed to invade the realm of the loser, the losing realm's champion. But they have to win all 10 in a row uninterrupted without any losses. And we will call this series of 10 tournaments over 500 years the Mortal Kombat.
Okay, so their solution was let's make a really fucked up Olympics for it.
Yeah. No, I really like, I mean, we all know that it's about fighting, but all you said was tournament. So I do really like the idea of like, they're just coming with their like tennis rackets. He's like, I've lived 150 years to win these tennis games. I mean, I guess that basically is Prince of Tennis right there.
Yeah, I was going to say, yeah, exactly.
Maybe that is how the real life Olympics are, and we just don't know.
Well, very similarly to the real life Olympics, there's a lot of background fuckery that's going on in this one as well.
No.
So
not in my Olympics.
No, I thought it was about the sport.
I thought it was about the spirit of competition.
It's not. It's about invading Earthrealm.
Oh, okay.
So, the games tend to go generally sequentially as far as the lore is concerned. However, to start, we do have a couple spin-off games that ended up being prequel games, as it turns out. The very first Mortal Kombat game is called Mortal Kombat Special Forces, which we are not going to talk about it even a little bit because it's very stupid. And it's not a fighting game, it's an action RPG where you play as Jax. And he doesn't really matter because he's just a human with robot arms. That's his whole draw.
Wait, that's the first Mortal Kombat?
That's the first in the timeline.
Oh, okay.
The first Mortal Kombat is Mortal Kombat.
Sure, yeah, I was like, wait.
But the first game that has any lore that's going to matter for us as far as this Mortal Kombat is the game Mortal Kombat Mythology: Sub-Zero.
Hell yeah.
Okay.
I owned this game.
This game is very good because very clearly the makers of Mortal Kombat had this idea that they were going to make a bunch of these and that they were each going to follow sort of the timeline of all the characters. This was the only one they made, though. But I watched all the cutscenes for this game, and it starts with the dictionary definition of the word mythology, which is how you know they were like, we're going to make one of these for every of the 99 goddamn characters that we have. But actually what happened is they just made one for fan favorite Sub-Zero.
Okay.
And let me tell you, you should go watch all the cutscenes from this game. It's very good. They're all live action, like acted with real humans wearing the costumes from the game. And it's expertly paced. Honestly, A plus cinematography from this one.
I can tell CJ did not play the game.
No, I didn't. And I'm glad to not have. Honestly, just watching the movie part was great.
I've seen this man before. I had to look up a picture of Sub-Zero.
Yes, he's very famous. He's the Blue Ninja, and he shoot ice.
There's lots of ninjas in this.
Yes, we'll talk about that. So,
they all have like masks, which doesn't help me like differentiate them.
Right.
I'm pretty sure I've seen this guy.
They're different colors you see.
Right. Well, and it's good to point out too that Mortal Kombat was a bit unique in fighting games in that they used PNGs of real humans.
I did know that part.
As the avatars for the game.
And they just reskinned
and
the colors,
they just recolored. I don't even think they redid any of the actual, like, they didn't have another guy dress up in a blue one and then a yellow one. They just literally redid the PNGs with different colors. And so Sub-Zero is a member of a Chinese assassin ninja style organization known as the Lin Kuei. And the Lin Kuei seem to have their own agenda, but as we find out in this game, they are working with a wizard, a sorcerer, I believe they call him, named Quan Chi. And it's implied in the first cutscene of the game that, like, Quan Chi killed the leader of their rival faction, which is a Japanese ninja group. So they're Chinese. He killed the Japanese ninja group, and he then uses that as, like, payment to hire Sub-Zero to go get a special amulet for him. And so Sub-Zero's boss, the leader of the Lin Kuei, is like, all right, Sub-Zero, you're a cool ninja. Go get this amulet because Quan Chi said he can't go get it because it's in a temple that's protected by the 4 elements. And then Sub-Zero's like, what are the 4 elements? It's like, well, it's water, earth, fire, and air.
You're a ninja.
You're a ninja. But then Quan Chi is like, because of your mastery over cold, you have an advantage against all elements. And I'm like, all right, sure, whatever. I'm on board. I guess cold trumps all of the natural elements. Yeah.
Okay.
So, yeah, it's like in The Last Airbender, it was like lightning was kind of the one that was like the strongest, sort of. But in this one, I guess cold is the one.
No, it's just that every element had like an extra thing you could do if you're really mastered it.
But can those elements do that thing if they're too cold?
Yeah,
no.
If you get too cold, you can't set things on fire if it's too cold. Fire hot.
True.
Cold opposite. There you go. And so he does this. He goes through the game. He prevents the elements from, I guess, protecting the temple, and then he collects the amulet. And then Quan Chi shows up, and he's like, "You've done well, Sub-Zero. This amulet is the amulet of Shinnok. Shinnok used to be an elder god, but he was stricken down from the ranks of the elder gods by the other elder gods for being a dick or something." Okay. This amulet contains his essence, so I'm going to bring this amulet back to my master, which will restore his full power, which he will use to invade Earthrealm, because right now he is in charge of Netherrealm. So what we learn through all this is that Shinnok used to be an elder god. The other elder gods got mad at him and struck him down into the Netherrealm. He became the leader of Netherrealm by using his still not insignificant power. And then he got the help of this necromancer sorcerer guy named Quan Chi as his, like, lieutenant. And the two of them want Netherrealm to invade Earthrealm. So that's their big plan.
Mm-hmm. The other thing that we learned that, if I remember right, happens constantly throughout this series is that things would go totally fine and easy for the villains if they weren't constantly like, and now that I have what I want, I will betray you and let you know my plan.
Yeah, don't worry. We'll get way more into that as time goes on. To the dumbest degree. Like, just actual incompetence, malfeasance, if you will. And it's good to point out that there's not really, like, good guys. There's people who want to defend Earthrealm. That's kind of our good guys. But, like, Sub-Zero's not, like, a good guy. He's a thief, assassin, ninja guy who is, you know...
So they're kind of anti-heroes.
Yeah, I get it. It's just kind of like everyone's kind of a dick in their own way, quite honestly.
The only good guy is Stryker, because we back the blue.
Right, of course. So the the only other main thing that happens, I'll bring up Sub-Zero and Scorpion a lot because I think theirs is one of the more coherent ones, but also it's the more fleshed out one because, again, people really like Sub-Zero and Scorpion. And so I think the developers made more for them. But it's implied that when at the beginning of the game, when Sub-Zero is hired by Quan Chi, Sub-Zero had already killed his nemesis Scorpion, who the leader of the Lin Kuei describes as Sub-Zero's Japanese ninja counterpart. Which is like, okay, sure.
He has a name.
He likes Sub-Zero, but yellow.
Exactly.
Oh.
So Scorpion is dead at this point. But as we described, Netherrealm is basically hell. So once it's revealed that Quan Chi is going to take this amulet back to his master in Netherrealm and restore his powers, Raiden, who is the god protector of Earthrealm, at this point Raiden is just a god. So there's the elder gods, but then there's also the regular gods that kind of tend to each of their own realms. And each realm seems to have their own like protector or leader or whatever you want to call it. So Earthrealm's main protector is Raiden, the god of thunder. Yeah, he has a hat. He has glowing eyes. He's probably the most like good guy of the series.
Okay.
And so Raiden shows up and he's like, Sub-Zero, you fucked up. You gave that to Shinnok, and Sub-Zero's like, I ain't never heard of a guy named Shinnok. And Sub-Zero goes, that's because you're a little baby. I'm a god. I've been around forever. I know that Shinnok was an ancient god of death, and he's going to rain destruction down on Earthrealm, and you got to go get that amulet and bring it back to me. I swear to God. I swear to me. Swear to me. And then
Raiden says that to Sub-Zero?
Yeah.
Okay.
And so he sends Sub-Zero into Netherrealm, where he sees Scorpion again. What? Well, that's right, because Scorpion's died, so he went to hell. And so now he's just in hell, waiting for Sub-Zero. And the two of them fight again, and Sub-Zero beats him again. And eventually Sub-Zero goes through all the temples and stuff in Netherrealm and knocks down the door of Quan Chi and gets the amulet back and brings the amulet back to Earthrealm and gives it to Raiden. And then he reports back to the leader of the Lin Kuei and goes, I did it. I saved Earthrealm. And he goes, that's very good. Also, there's someone here that wants to talk to you. And an old man comes around the corner. And it's Shang Tsung. And Shang Tsung goes, yeah,
don't know who that is.
This isn't going to make sense yet because, again, this is a big reveal because this game came out after a bunch of Mortal Kombats, but it's a prequel.
Okay.
But it's a big reveal. And Shang Tsung shows up and he goes, Sub-Zero, would you like to compete in Mortal Kombat? And then the game ends.
Mortal Kombat. I have a quick question.
Yeah, of course.
How do they travel between realms?
So that's a good question. Usually it is a god amulet of some kind. So I guess Raiden can make portals between realms.
Okay.
There's also various items every once in a while. So people can travel between realms, but you can't invade other realms.
Yeah, but you can
just visit.
You can visit.
Right.
They
like
have
a green card.
They have like a visas area and stuff
exactly.
like that.
Yeah, I mean, it does work an awful lot like that. In also that, like, you could be like, yes, I am just coming to visit.
And then spend 4 months living there without a visa.
Yeah, and then you
see.
make a baby with a person there, and you're like, well, I gotta stay here because my baby's here.
Well, this baby isn't an invader. He was born here.
He's a citizen. What do you want?
But that's how they trick you. Don't let them.
Don't ever let them do that kind of shit. Always kick the whole people out. Put them in a cage and throw them in a river. I don't know.
I'm sorry. I also just like because of the fact that you can travel to literal hell, like did Scorpion die and he just went to hell? So he just woke up in another realm. Like, all right, well, I guess I'm here.
He's like,
but
oh,
then
I guess
he
I'm
could
in
just
hell now.
Leave.
No, he does, as we'll see as we come
Okay,
to
yeah,
Mortal
like
Kombat
so you
1.
can die, but like then just be like, well, I'm just here now,
Yeah.
and then you can just come back to the original realm you're in.
Yeah, but now once you go to Netherrealm as a corpse, they bring this up a lot because they can tell Sub-Zero isn't a native of Netherrealm because he still has his soul inside of his body. When you go to Netherrealm, you become like a dark wraith version of yourself. So
Okay.
that's their rationale behind it.
I was also just imagining like, since you can go visit there, just being like, see you in hell.
Yeah.
Next week Tuesday.
Yeah.
Bye bye.
For the tournament.
Yeah.
It'll be fun. And if we die, it doesn't matter. I'm just going to go back home. It's not a big deal. And it's also revealed that you have to be tainted by evil, at least in some capacity, to go to Netherrealm. So,
Okay. Yeah. So what?
that's why Raiden. That's why Raiden couldn't go. That's why he sent Sub-Zero, and that's why Scorpion met him in hell, and he was like, "You only evil people can go to hell." And then Sub-Zero asked Raiden, he's like, "Am I evil? Because they said only evil people can go to hell." And he's like, "I'm not gonna lie, you're kind of a bad guy sometimes, but your future is your own, Sub-Zero."
A little here, a little there, you know.
Yeah. So, are you evil now? You know,
Wait, so Raiden can't go there because he is evil?
Raiden can't go there because he's not evil.
Oh, okay.
He's
I
not
see.
been
Right.
tainted
Yeah,
by
yeah,
evil.
Right.
Yeah.
It's just listen.
Yeah, I was gonna say where do people go then if they're totally good
They
and they
just
die?
They cease to exist.
Yeah, they just turn off.
There's no heaven.
Nope.
No,
Okay.
they reach enlightenment
Not even
whenever
the
they die.
Utopia place.
Yeah, you would think Edania would be like heaven, but no, that's just a different place. Oh, great.
Well, yeah. I mean, like, so what? People are like, well, if I go to hell, I'll like technically continue living and
Right.
be able
Whereas
to
opposed
visit.
to if I don't,
Whereas
then
if I'm just really good, I'll just die.
Listen.
So
be dead.
Listen, hell, not very fun. You turn into a skeleton and there's a lot
Yeah.
of fire.
I was gonna say, is there a downside? Like, do people not like being in that place?
No, people don't like being in
Okay.
that place, I'm afraid. It's pretty shitty. It's a pretty shit
Okay. Yeah.
realm.
No, that's okay.
It is the anus of the realm.
Exactly. There's a reason that they want to invade Earth. Earth realm, sorry. So, now we get into the lore of Mortal Kombat, the original game that everybody loves and talks about. The story here is that Netherrealm has been trying to invade Earthrealm for like 500 years now. They've been invoking the right of Mortal Kombat, and they have now won 9 out of 10 tournaments with their champion Goro, who is a man dragonborn, but I guess that means that you get 4 arms.
Mhm.
That's
Let me
what being
look
a
this
dragon is in this.
Yeah,
one.
he's just like a 9-foot tall guy with 4 arms.
Which is very cool. But what we also will learn in the future is that the Titans beget the Elder Gods, kinda, and then it's also implied that the Elder Gods beget literal dragons, and then those literal dragons had like eternal life and were super powerful, and then they had children, but every generation the dragons got a little less powerful and a little less big and a little more mortal. And so there are people with dragon bloodline that were that are strong because of their dragon bloodline, but are still like not the strength of the elder dragons, which are like one level below the elder gods.
So you're saying that Goro is a demigod.
Yeah, but then he has 4 arms instead of 2.
Oh, that's pretty
Okay.
powerful.
Yeah, I looked up a picture of
Pretty
him.
good. I mean, it's good enough to win 9 out of 10 Mortal
It's kind of
Kombat
hard to beat
tournaments.
somebody with 4 arms. Yeah,
Yeah,
And
exactly.
he's like a big buff dude.
Yeah, I have 4 arms.
Ah,
A forearm. It's like the
yeah. If
'Cause of
people
the-
who are
it's-
not watching the video, he just
right. It's like
pointed
the
to
name
his
of the part
forearm.
under your wrist above the elbow. Anyway, the biggest thing here is that Shang Tsung, who we met in the previous game, which he would be from this game originally, but he is the host of the current Mortal Kombat. And we find out that he is using a little bit of trickery and subterfuge in order to stack the tournament in the favor of Netherrealm. So
Wait, what's his name?
Shang Tsung?
Shang Tsung.
Shang Tsung. He's very famous.
Okay.
And is the final boss of
Oh.
Mortal Kombat 1.
I mean, yeah, it makes sense. They'd be like, well, we only need one more to win, so
Well, he's been stacking the odds in the favor of NetherRealm for all of these tournaments.
Oh, okay.
He is secretly, as we will find out later, working for the Emperor of NetherRealm in order to
Outrealm.
make... Oh, yeah, Outrealm. You're right. Yeah,
don't get penis realm and anus realm mixed up.
Well, you've also conflated. It's not Outrealm because it's Outworld. I don't know why this one is Outworld and the other ones are Realm, but it is.
It's out of this world.
Or Outer World is another one they use randomly, but Outworld is the one. So Outworld is the one that's won 9 out of 10 of their championships. And Goro is the champion of the Emperor of Outrealm, and Shang Tsung is making sure that Goro wins.
Where is Shang Tsung from?
He's from Outrealm.
Okay.
Or Outworld.
But he's the host.
Yeah, but he's like a human. Like everyone's...
And he gets to host every time?
Yeah.
That doesn't seem fair. They should rotate the hosts.
Well, they're the ones who initiated the Mortal Kombat, so they, they get to make the rules a little bit more. And Raiden is not all too pleased with this because he does not want them to invade Earthrealm, but if they succeed in Mortal Kombat, they are allowed to do so.
That's the rules.
And so he has created a faction of warrior monks known as the White Lotus, and he is training and guiding them in order to be able to defend Earthrealm from these guys who have invoked Mortal Kombat. And his champion that he has chosen as his kind of star pupil is named Liu Kang. And he's like, my boy Liu Kang, he's gonna beat Goro this time, and he's gonna defend Earthrealm.
He's gonna use his famous technique, the bicycle kick, which tells you just how strong he is with a name like that for his ultimate move.
There's like magical ninjas and
wow, this guy does not look at all what I pictured.
Yeah, there's like magic ninjas and like actual demons in this game and stuff. And this guy's just a dude. He's like a Jackie Chan kind of dude, but he's just a man.
He's kind of handsome.
Yeah, he's very handsome. He's got long flowing locks.
Yeah.
But he is going to be our canonical winner for the next few games. So again, there's all the, the things that happen if you beat the game as different characters, but the canonical ending.
This guy does not look like he could beat Goro.
This is an audio medium. Stop looking at pictures.
I'm not showing anybody. I'm just looking at it for myself.
I know! You're not showing anybody!
Yeah, because I need to know. Other people can look it up.
We're talking over here.
All you really need is just Lizzie's reaction. Oh, yeah. That's an attractive man.
Yeah, well, I assume other people can look it up. I'm not gonna hold my phone to the camera,
to the microphone. See,
look.
And so Liu Kang is the canonical winner of Mortal Kombat 1. He defeats Goro, which breaks the streak of Mortal Kombat victories from Outrealm and Outworld, whatever. And so he has stopped the invasion of Earthrealm and has saved the day. And Raiden's like, "You're such a good boy, Liu Kang. I'm very proud of you." Some other things that happen canonically in this game, because again, some of the endings are canonical and some are just alternate realities that don't ever happen, is Sub-Zero dies. He's killed by none other than Scorpion, who is in the game as a undead wraith version of himself from NetherRealm. So in the game, he takes off his mask and he's a skull underneath because he's a dead guy.
Spooky.
And he kills Sub-Zero in Mortal Kombat.
Oh. And
so Sub-Zero's also dead now, but comes back as, the undead version of Sub-Zero in the later games.
Oh.
That tends to happen a lot.
Did he go to hell?
He goes to hell where his consciousness is stripped away from him over time and becomes a dark version of himself known as Noob Saibot.
Wait, Noob?
Noob Saibot.
Noob Saibot?
Yeah.
Was
Noob
that
Saibot? It's Noob Saibot is the words Boone and Tobias backwards because those are the last names of the two main developers for the Mortal Kombat game. So
I like it better if you just
What?
leave her with Noob Saibot.
it's
But-
Noob Saibot.
But he went from Sub-Zero to Noob.
to Noob Saibot.
His
correct.
Nega version is called Noob.
Yeah,
Well,
I love it.
At some points he's just Saibot, but yeah, he's Noob Saibot now.
This is my ultra evil version of myself.
But
Noob.
But CJ,
Noob
but CJ, you're saying Sub-Zero's in the next game. Yes, but that Sub-Zero turns out to actually be Sub-Zero's younger brother who's pretending to be Sub-Zero in order to get vengeance for his brother's death. Obviously.
This is just like Speed Racer.
This is a fighting game, by the way. This is not like they don't fucking tell you any of this stuff. It's like one paragraph pieces of text that happen at the end of the game you have to beat everybody as. So there you go.
Those were the info
that's
dump
another
days.
that's another great thing that they do is all of the characters have backstory, but really all of the characters, like 80% of them, are just recolored skins of other characters, but they each have a canonical reason why they exist. So Noob Saibot has Sub-Zero and Scorpion's moveset, and the canonical reason is because Sub-Zero was killed by Scorpion and lost his consciousness over the course of time and then became like a dark revenant version of himself that I guess had both of these abilities. There's also a guy named Reptile who's just a green Sub-Zero. For this
man,
one,
I thought he was gonna be a lizard.
well, he's a reptile
Okay.
under his mask.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Again, the mask hides a lot.
Yeah.
And he spit acid, like lizards do. And of course he exists because 65 million years ago when the dinosaurs existed. This is actually the same plot as Super Mario from 1993. But there was a mass extinction event, which was actually caused by, I think, a bunch of deities fighting. But some of the reptiles took refuge within the hollow earth. The earth is hollow, by the way. And so then an alternate version of humanity evolved from dinosaurs over the course of time that lived in the hollow earth. And Reptile is one of those guys.
All right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
There's also Ermac. We'll get to him later, but he's a red one.
Ermac.
Ermac.
Ermac,
These are
he red.
Interesting.
There's
Yeah, he's
also, let me think, there's Smoke, he gray.
There's Smoke is stupid, but I think he's also Lin Kuei. He's a Lin Kuei warrior alongside of all of the like ninjas are either Lin Kuei or the Scorpion Japanese ninja version of the Lin Kuei, which is their arch nemesis. So whatever.
I'm just like I had a very like suddenly vivid flashback of me. I'm pretty sure at like some sort of waiting room where they had a Mortal Kombat game hooked up in like a game system that had many things on it. And I was scrolling through like the character select screen, and there was a million of the same looking guys, but they're just recolored.
Yep.
And they all showing all of their names on screen, and I was like, that's kind of funny. They named all of the recolors of this one character. That's cute.
No, those are all different characters.
I didn't know until now.
Now
I just was like, that's really silly and funny. These are very specific
my
like
God.
names.
We
No,
haven't
they took-
even gotten into all of the robot versions of the ninjas.
Yeah,
Oh,
we're
man.
gonna get there in like 2 more games. All right, so Noob Saibot doesn't matter. None of these people matter. That's the thing. Raiden matters. Raiden, Shang Tsung, Liu Kang, and the wizard guy,
Quan Chi.
Quan Chi. Those guys matter for now. And now we're going to go to Mortal Kombat 2 because the Emperor of Outworld, Shao Kahn, is pretty pissed off that he does not get to invade Earthrealm because he really wanted to do that. And he's like, I'm going to punish Shang Tsung because he's failed me. He was supposed to make these tournaments win so I could go invade Earthrealm. He failed. And Shang Tsung's like, no. Don't worry. I can fix this, Master. I will bait Earthrealm into doing a little bit of a redo. But this time, we'll have the tournament here in Outworld, so we'll have a home field advantage. And we will definitely kill all of the heroes this time, and then that will still count because they will have agreed to do a redo, and I
Why
guess
would
that's
they
fine.
do?
Again, he's like baiting them. I think he destroys Liu Kang's like temple where he lives with the
He says,
with all the other-
I'm not invading. I'm just destroying your temple.
I'm just destroying holy ground. And so Liu Kang wants to get revenge on all of that.
I'll put our realm at stake for revenge.
Yeah, well,
Okay.
and in another game, Mortal Kombat Shaolin Monks, it goes a little bit more into this, and like Quan Chi disguises himself as Raiden and is basically like, Liu Kang, you gotta go into Outworld and teach these guys a lesson. And Liu Kang's like, okay, Raiden, whatever you say, Big Daddy. And so there's a bunch of like subterfuge and bullshit like that. But basically, we're doing a tournament again. This time it's in Outworld, which
Okay.
Shao Kahn is a big fan of. And Shao Kahn is like, great, I'm going to compete in the tournament this time. And I'm like the strongest guy. I don't know why I wasn't doing the tournament
Yeah,
before.
right. Also, my big centaur that I have. He will be
Yes.
there too.
So Shao Kahn is kind of the big baddie for most of the series, in addition to Shinnok, the fallen god of death. But he doesn't exist yet, remember, because he only exists in that spin-off game that was a flashback, and that game hasn't happened yet. We're only in Mortal Kombat 2. Are you following along at home? Great. All right.
Trying.
So they do this rerun tournament. Again, Liu Kang's victory is the canonical victory. He eventually beats the tournament again, avenges his fallen monk brothers, and defeats Shao Kahn, which is good because, again, the rule isn't super clear in Mortal Kombat. I don't think you're allowed to really have a redo, so I don't really know what would have happened if that didn't work out for
That's what I
them,
was
but
wondering.
it did, so it's fine.
My other interjection real quick is that when I looked up a picture of him, Liu Kang,
Yeah.
I was like, I've never seen this man ever in my life, but I've seen like the other characters.
Yeah.
So it's very weird that he's like the main important protagonist, and I have never seen a picture of him ever, I feel.
He is the lead, like he's like the main guy. He is the Hadoken guy. But he's not very memorable. He's like one of the least marketable of them, which is probably what didn't show up a lot, because the other
Right,
ones are
I
like
guess.
ninjas and like
Yeah.
thunder gods
Yeah.
and like demon lords, and then there's
Yeah.
just some dude
He's
who
just a-
punches.
Just
Right.
a handsome guy.
Yeah, it's I mean, comparing it to Street Fighter, it's like, yeah, Liu Kang, he fills that main character slot like Ryu does, but it would be if everybody was just like, well, I just think Dalsim's way cooler and I want to hear more stories about him.
Yoga flame. All right. So we get through this game. Earthrealm is saved once again. Some other things that show up in this game that are gonna maybe matter a little bit in the future. We have a guy named Kung Lao. He is
Kung
Liu Kang-
Lao?
Kung Lao. He is Liu Kang's buddy. The two of them hang out. He's got like a blade hat. He throws it at people. But
Cool.
he's also a warrior monk, and the two of them are like tight bros, and that will matter in the future. But he's pretty inconsequential so far. He's just another guy you can play as.
Okay.
And so we're going from pretty straightforward, I think, so far, to let's get wacky with it. So before we get a little too wacky, let me go.
We're not wacky.
No, this
we
isn't
haven't
wacky.
begun
This isn't
to be
wacky at all.
wacky.
So let me go through some of the factions at play here, just to make sure we know who we're playing with. Because again, this game's all about the characters, right? So we have the Lin Kuei, that are the ninja assassin guys. They're Chinese ninjas, and they are for hire, but they also have their own motives. And Sub-Zero is one of them. Scorpion is basically one of them. Reptile and
they're not bad,
Urkon
but they're
and
not
stuff.
good.
Right. They're
Okay.
kind of evil.
I mean, imagine
They're assassins.
Assassins
Sure.
for hire. They're those.
Right.
There's the White Lotus. Those are generally the good guys. Those are the warrior monks that are led by Raiden. Raiden is the god of thunder and is also the protector of Earthrealm.
Okay.
There's the Black Dragon. Those guys are like the mafia, the mob, or maybe the Yakuza. They're a gang, and they do gang shit. It's led by a guy named Kano. He doesn't matter because he canonically dies very early and just doesn't come back, which is not the same for everybody.
Right.
There's a lot of canonical deaths that don't stick.
Sure.
Yeah, I mean, canonically, he doesn't come back. Of course, he is in every game as a playable character.
Well, there's a reason for that, but don't worry, Ethan. There's also the Special Forces. It's called the Special Forces on the WB page, but nobody else calls them that.
The fucking cops.
I think they mostly call themselves the OIA, which is the Outworld Investigation Agency. They are the cops. They're the human people from Earthrealm who aren't ninjas or monks. They're just like police officers.
Okay.
And in their ranks, they have people like Jax, who is a big buff dude with, well, I guess he's buff, but his arms are made of robot arms. So he's a cyborg man. And there's also Sonya. She's got big
Finally,
tits.
it's a woman.
Yeah. Well, yeah. There's some other women. There's some Edanian women. The main one is Kitana, who has a katana. And
Okay.
of course her alternate colored clones who will get their own story later, but we're getting there. Don't worry.
Okay.
And then we've already introduced the main players as far as, who's doing what here. But that's kind of what's at stake. Outworld wants to invade Earthrealm. Netherrealm wants to invade Earthrealm. But the other gods don't allow it. They say you have to do a Mortal Kombat if you want to do that. And so we're here now. Earthrealm is safe, but Shao Kahn is not pleased with how this all has shaken out. He is defeated many times over, but I guess he doesn't get killed. So he's still trying to, still up to his bullshit. What is his new plan? Because he can't do Mortal Kombat anymore. That's off the table. That's going to take 500 years. That's insane. So, Shao Kahn has been working with a necromancer. Maybe you've heard of him, a guy by the name of Quan Chi, because he is able to resurrect his bride, his queen. That's Queen Sindel. And he has, you were talking about anchor babies. Well, his plan is he's going to resurrect Queen Sindel on Earthrealm, and then he's going to teleport to Earthrealm to reunite with her, which I guess in his mind feels good enough.
You can just do that?
Well, so he doesn't have the ability to open portals between realms like some of the other gods do. So this is a way for him to get to Earthrealm, because now that he's failed Mortal Kombat, there's no way for him to get there at all. And so this is his loophole. Is like, fine, well, I'm going to resurrect my bride with the help of a necromancer, and then her resurrection, my connection to her will allow me to invade Earthrealm to go meet up with her.
Right.
And other people are going to be cool with that. The other gods.
I mean,
I don't know. That doesn't
what are
seem
they
like
gonna
they'd
do
be
about
cool.
it? But
Well,
no,
Wait. Back up, though. So, but why does he so badly want to invade Earth? Just
because Outrealm sucks shit, dude. It's awful.
I wanted to know if that was just the only reason.
No,
Yeah,
it's like
it's-
awful there.
Okay.
yeah, it's real bad.
Earthrealm never tries to invade the other realms. They're probably
'cause
just
they're
like, why would I fucking bother?
This is fine.
So that's probably why.
Okay.
I do love that his plan is he's just like, I'm gonna send send my girlfriend over to Earthrealm, and then, all right, babe, text me the thing. And she's like, okay. Hey, you should come over. Oh, I can't right now. I can't make a portal. My parents aren't home. Then he gets the magical power.
Finally, a way to understand this that makes sense to me. All right. So this plan pretty much works. Shao Kahn invades Earth and it kills billions of people upon his invasion by like sucking out their souls, or destroying their souls or some shit. And this is bad. But Raiden, the protector of Earth, is able to protect a select few souls, namely the combatants, which are the name for the fighters in Mortal Kombat. And yes, it starts with a K.
Oh, thank God. And
so the Earth combatants are still alive and are hell-bent on revenge to kill Shao Kahn and kind of stop the invasion of Earth, but it's pretty much a done deal. And so also a lot of the Earth combatants turned into Revenant Wraith versions of themselves because they basically died when Shao Kahn invaded Earth. But at a certain point, they're able to undo that to some of them. Like Jax was a Revenant for a while, but then he gets turned back into regular Jax. So
it's worth mentioning that this is around the point, I'm not sure if it's this game or one of the like ones immediately after, but this is around the point where they stop just giving you information at like the very end of the game when you win and start having a stupid reason for every fight in the story to occur.
These ones are all very front loaded at this point. So as we learn throughout the game, Sindel is not actually the queen of Shao Kahn. She's actually the queen of Edania, and Shao Kahn has like coerced her into marriage with him post-mortem. And so this is how Shao Kahn also kind of controls Edania on top of Outrealm, which is why Kitana, who is the daughter of Queen Sindel, also kind of works for Outrealm.
What? Wait, which one is Edania again?
Edania's the Utopia realm.
Okay, that's what I thought.
So he already kind of
convinced her when she was dead to marry him.
Because she didn't say no. So that's the law in Outworld.
All right, yeah, that should have been obvious to me.
Yeah, it's pretty not the best place if you haven't figured that out. I mean, they showed up and killed everybody.
Yeah.
But taking a hostage bride, that's where I draw the line. Says Liu Kang, who again is summoned forth to defeat Shao Kahn and I guess just get vengeance because everyone's dead. So there's not much of Earthrealm left. But Liu Kang does eventually defeat Shao Kahn, and him and Kitana have the hots for each other. So then he bangs his surrogate daughter on top of that. So that's pretty cool.
Wait.
No, that one's not his surrogate daughter.
Wait, yeah, I missed surrogate daughter.
Well, because...
No, Shao Kahn's surrogate daughter.
Yeah. Oh, okay. I was like, hold on a second.
No,
what?
He kills Shao Kahn and bangs his surrogate daughter.
Oh, okay, yeah. No,
No, he didn't. That's gross.
Yeah, I was like, hold on. Okay, glad we cleared that up.
And Kung Lao dies during all this, which again... It like motivates Liu Kang because they were buds, but he is just really not playing a big part in any of this at this point.
Kung Lao dies?
Kung Lao's dead. Remember, he showed up in the last game. Well, he dies in this game.
He's got a very sharp hat.
Also, the Quan Chi, was that right? The ninjas?
No, Quan Chi's the necromancer.
Yeah, that's the wizard guy.
Yeah, the Lin Kuei. Yeah.
Lin Kuei.
Also, because of this invasion, the Lin Kuei decide that fleshy humans are too weak, and so they start turning all their ninjas into robots. So now not only is there recolors of all the ninjas, but there's also a robot version of all the ninjas.
Of each one.
Sub-Zero doesn't get turned into a ninja, but this Sub-Zero is actually the original Sub-Zero's brother, pretending to be his older brother, Sub-Zero. and the original Sub-Zero doesn't get turned into a ninja because he's Noob Saibot, and Scorpion doesn't get turned into a robot because he is a undead wraith version of himself, but Smoke and Reptile get turned into robot versions of themselves.
Mm-hmm. And
just go on.
So that's what's happening with all the characters now. Is that fair to say?
I don't even know.
All right. Well, all of this is irrelevant because Shao Kahn wasn't the main enemy here. Because you see, Quan Chi was only working with Shao Kahn on the orders of his master Shinnok because he knew that. Okay, so Quan Chi has the ability to absorb souls, so he wanted Shao Kahn to destroy Earthrealm and release all these souls so that he could absorb them and give that energy to his master Shinnok so that he could revive and invade Earthrealm, which is again a shithole now, but I guess they don't care. So this was all part of Shinnok's plan to weaken Earthrealm and weaken Outworld so that Netherrealm has a chance to invade all the realms and control all the realms. They want all the realms, okay? So Shinnok is now the new big bad guy. Shao Kahn is dead. The reason Shao Kahn is dead is because once Shao Kahn invaded Earth, Raiden pleaded to the Elder Gods to intervene, and they're like, "Oh yeah, he cheated. They to go back to your previous point, they're like, "Oh yeah, he did cheat. He's not supposed to invade Earth. He clearly did. We will infuse Raiden with the ability to destroy Shao Kahn once and for all," which he does, and that is why. So the rule was still valid, and the Elder Gods stepped in and gave Raiden the ability to kill Shao Kahn.
Mm-hmm. I do. It's one of my favorite things about the Elder Gods is that they did set these hard rules, but they're doing other shit. They're busy.
Yeah, they don't seem to be really paying attention.
They are. It is. So they say they cannot intervene. Elder Gods can't intervene in the meddlings of the mortals. So they put the rules in place. If anyone breaks the rules, they are allowed to enforce them. But otherwise, no. It's up to the regular gods like Raiden to do that.
And honestly, we'll enforce the rules if you make us enforce them.
Fine.
But
So, Lizzie, let me just say thanks for being on the podcast. You know, we've been going for a while, and I think it's always nice to have you here as a guest. I just want to say thank you, and you know, it's really appreciated. How are you enjoying it so far? Are you having fun?
Yeah, I mean, of course, I'm always happy to talk about very silly, fictional things.
Okay.
You know, I brought my own to this show.
Yeah,
so,
definitely.
I'm doing my darndest to follow along with this one.
Oh, okay. Okay, that's great. I was actually going to ask you how you were feeling about the lore of this one so far.
Yeah. I'm trying very hard.
It almost, yeah, if not to put words in your mouth, you know, but if I could describe it, maybe you agree, it does kind of feel like we are kind of at like the maximum level of complexity that you would want, that you could still pretty much follow along on if you're like a diehard devoted fan, you know, right?
Yeah, I could say that.
Right. So as long as it is just this level, you might agree that that's,
I mean, I
maybe
should,
fine.
I should be able to say that because I read like Naruto, and that is, I would probably put on the same level of like just layering of a lot of complexity so far.
Okay, so we're at like Naruto. Let's get to like Neon Genesis Evangelion 2.0 Redux Remix version over here.
Okay.
Because up until now, you foolish girl, it was a trap. All of that was the easy stuff. That was that. None of that even matters, really. Kinda.
I was gonna. Is there going to be a test? Because I don't know if I can even spell any of these names.
we are going to the realm of where CJ goes psychotic because all of this is gonna get just a little wild. All right, are you ready? Are you
Yeah,
buckled
this
to your
is my
seatbelt?
favorite part. Yeah.
I'm a little scared, but yeah.
Okay, so the invasion of Earthrealm by Shao Kahn allowed the resurrection of Shinnok because his disciple, the necromancer Quan Chi, was able to absorb enough soul energy to revive Shinnok, using the amulet of Shinnok, which, remember from the Sub-Zero game, Sub-Zero gave to Raiden. Well, and this is where I don't think sometimes the community just needs to say, I don't know. But instead, they have given me multiple equally valid things that have happened. One, remember that Mortal Kombat Shaolin Monks game that I just glossed over and said that it kind of doesn't matter and it's like an action RPG spin-off of the main game series that happens around MK2 and MK3? One interpretation is that at some point during that whole thing, Quan Chi, disguised as Raiden, was able to reclaim the amulet of Shinnok because, again, Raiden has it, but he has it for MK4. Somehow he has it for MK4 so that he can revive his master Shinnok.
Somehow Palpatine returned.
Another
Yes.
one, and this is my favorite because this one is more rooted in the mythology's Sub-Zero game, and so that's why I like it more, is that the amulet that Sub-Zero retrieved in the Sub-Zero game was a fake made by Quan Chi to trick Sub-Zero into thinking that he reclaimed the amulet when in fact he was holding the real one the whole time. So he has the amulet of Shinnok and he's going to use it to revive his master Shinnok, who again is an elder god of death that nobody likes except Quan Chi, I guess.
Okay.
So
So he just gave him like a little cookie that he drew icing on it and like to
Yeah,
make it look like
yeah.
the amulet.
Yeah.
well, if you see the prop in the game, it's not too far off in
Okay.
production quality. So maybe it was literally he just held him like the paper mache thing, and he was like, "That's probably it. I don't know." He does say in the game, he's like, "This isn't worth the bronze it's cast in." So I guess it's bronze. So he put a little work in, but bronze isn't like that special. So I don't know. Maybe it
It's
wasn't
third
actually
place.
bronze. All right. So Shinnok is revived. He comes back. He's able to resurrect with the help of the necromancer. And he is pissed off. He's pissed off at the Elder Gods. He has a bone to pick with Raiden because Raiden has opposed him at every step. It's revealed that him and Raiden had a lot of run-ins in the past where Raiden, as is in his capacity of protector of Earthrealm, would like fight him back.
There's tension there.
Yeah, there's a lot of tension there. So
like, is there like
Oh.
sexual tension?
I mean, there are different finishing moves, if you know what I mean. There's the fatality. Everyone knows that one. There's the
Mortal
one,
Kombat is the one that says finish him, her, right?
right?
Okay.
Mhm.
And there's friendship, which is another finisher. But maybe there's a secret. Mortal Kombat's known for its secret characters, its secret movesets. Maybe there's one that's just it's finish him, and then there's.
Well, that's someone's fan fiction, surely.
I didn't
it's-
like
it's
that
mine.
noise. That-
yeah,
I
we didn't
know.
really
Yeah.
need
I did
the
it- I
sound
did it just
effect,
for you.
but
Anyway, MK4 is all about like people fighting each other, like the factions fighting each other. So like Shinnok is fighting against the White Lotus and Raiden and all of his crew. The Special Forces or the Outworld's Investigation Agency, OIA.
The cops.
The cops are fighting the Black Dragons, which again is like the mob, who's led by a new guy. And again, he doesn't matter because he dies, except he doesn't actually die, even though his death is to get dropped off a cliff, but he survives that. Sub-Zero and Scorpion are back at it again. The actual Sub-Zero and the actual Scorpion. because Sub-Zero has gotten revived at some point for some fucking reason or another. Basically, Scorpion thinks that Sub-Zero killed his whole family, but if you recall from the Sub-Zero game, it was actually Quan Chi who killed his whole family to get the help from the Lin Kuei. So it's a big misunderstanding, and Sub-Zero's like, I didn't kill your family, I just killed you, dude. And he's like, I will punish you for killing my whole family. And he's like, I didn't kill your family, I just killed you.
Classic miscommunication.
Yeah,
plot
exactly.
in
Shakespearean.
in a rom-com.
Right.
I mean, I don't know. I get what Sub-Zero's going at, but to be fair, it seems like Quan Chi did that because he thought Sub-Zero and his clan would like it.
No, like, Sub-Zero would never kill his wife and children. He would only kill him, which again he did, but he's not concerned with that.
But he did feel that he owed Quan Chi a favor for killing all of but that was his rival Japanese ninja clan. Yeah, okay.
Great. So, and then on top of all of that, of course, we have Liu Kang, who is summoned again to fight back the evildoers and defeat Shinnok, the god of death, which he does. And again, Earthrealm's pretty fucked up still, but they are not able to assimilate Earthrealm as they want to. The upshot of all of this is that Raiden has been doing such a good job protecting Earthrealm, I guess. Sort of. Almost everyone's dead, but the Earthrealm has not been invaded by the other realms.
He's really put in his best effort.
Right, exactly. And the elder gods noticed the hustle.
Right.
I was gonna say.
I feel like he's putting a lot on Liu Kang. Poor Liu Kang's just there like, Raiden, when you said fight this big guy with 4 arms, I was like, that's kind of scary, but I'll go for it.
I'll do
it. And then you said fight the god of Outrealm world, and I said, well, he's got a scary skull mask, but I did it. And now this one is the actual god of death, and I sort of feel like maybe...
This feels more like in your area of expertise. I don't know why I'm still doing this. Yeah. Well, he does it because he's a good boy. And nothing bad will ever happen to him. And the Elder Gods are like, Raiden, you did a great job defending Earthrealm. In fact, we want to promote you from...
And it was only you.
And it was only you. No one else matters. And we want to promote you from God Protector of Earthrealm to Elder God. See, now we got, so they're gonna make Raiden an Elder God, and he's like, great, I will have my brother Fujin, the god of wind, to be the new protector of Earthrealm, which doesn't matter because Fujin really doesn't matter in the grand scheme of things, but he's his brother.
So Raiden's going from like branch manager to like C-suite.
C-suite, operations executive or something like that. So that is the end of MK4. They are due for a shakeup.
Are they?
The good guys keep winning? That's pretty lame. What if maybe the evil guys had their chance to win? What if actually those second in commands were a little bit tired of playing second fiddle to some other guys? You know, Quan Chi and Shang Tsung, who are serving their masters, Shao Kahn and Shinnok, respectively, or irrespectively. and so they decide that they want to be the big bad guys. In fact, they're going to make a Mortal Kombat Deadly Alliance, which is the name of this game that is coming out now, which is essentially Mortal Kombat 5.
It is, yeah. And, I mean, I guess Shao Kahn is very big and such, but it does sort of feel, when you look at their skill sets, it does sort of feel like Shang Tsung should have been in charge the whole time. Yeah. It's like Shao Kahn, he big, strong man. Shang Tsung, he can absorb the soul of any warrior he defeats and just learns all their kung fu by eating them. It's a little bit better, I feel.
Well, and maybe he's a little empowered, he's had setbacks, but he's had big dubs too. He's had victories. And so he decides he's going to team up with Quan Chi, and the two of them are going to get rid of some main characters right off the bat. In fact, initially, Quan Chi signs up with Shang Tsung, and the two of them pretend like they are going to swear fealty to Shao Kahn to help him with whatever new plan he has to invade Earthrealm. But this was a trick that they used to kill Shao Kahn outright.
Oh.
And then they say, who's the next biggest threat to us? That's right, it's Liu Kang. Now we're going to go to Liu Kang, and boom.
Is he next in the order?
Yeah, well, Raiden's an elder god now, so he can't intervene with any of the stuff that they want to do anyway. And so they go to Liu Kang, and bang, they kill him in a cutscene. You don't get to play as Liu Kang in MK Deadly Alliance. Liu Kang shows up later as a... Lizzie, do you want to fill in the blank?
Himself?
Well,
he just revived?
He died.
Yeah, so he comes back.
As a...
Oh, as a god?
Lizzie, you haven't been paying attention at all. As a Netherrealm Wraith version of himself.
Oh,
remember?
Yeah.
Like Scorpion.
But...
Yeah, he has evil inside of him. Everybody does.
Okay,
it's hell for everyone. I don't know.
I thought Liu Kang was a little good boy.
Yeah, well, whatever. He's in Netherrealm now.
Zombie Liu Kang is a little less attractive than regular Liu Kang.
Well,
I will go out on a limb and say it.
Subjective.
And it's maybe implied that like his physical form that represents his living form is the part of you that goes to Netherrealm, and maybe your soul goes to heaven or whatever. I don't know. Either way. But he is dead. Liu Kang's dead. Shao Kahn is dead. And Quan Chi and Shang Tsung want to take over the world. How are they going to do that? You're probably going to need an army, maybe even a immortal army. Do you remember the Mummy spinoff, The Scorpion King?
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm not feeling like Lizzie's familiar with the Scorpion King, but
I think so.
It's generally the plot of that. There was an ancient king who was known as the Dragon King. Remember how I said that dragons are real and they used to be immortal? And at some point they stopped being immortal?
I was going to say, and then they weren't.
Well, apparently the Dragon King was the first generation of dragon to not be immortal. And
sucks.
Yeah, it was rough. And he didn't like that, but he also had the ability to raise the dead. And so he had an army called the Immortal Army, because whenever they would die, he would just resurrect them to be in his army still. And then he was an unstoppable force that was problematic for a long time. And eventually he was like cast away by the elder gods because he was doing too much invading of the realms. And so he eventually died. He wanted to live forever. He had this idea to steal an elder dragon egg, which contained a dragon that would have been immortal. And then he was going to infuse his own consciousness into the baby dragon and then resurrect as an immortal dragon. But that plan didn't work. And so him and all of his soldiers died. But then when they died, they became a terracotta army style thing where all his soldiers were like still there, ready to be resurrected again whenever the Dragon King summoned them. And so Quan Chi is like, I'm a necromancer. I will revive the army of the Dragon King, and we will use that to invade all the realms. And now Shao Kahn and Liu Kang aren't here to stop us, so we can just do that. And he does that, but oh no, he accidentally revives the Dragon King also, as well as all the other guys. And so the Dragon King's like, cool, I'm back alive. That's great. I'm going to use my immortal army to go invade everybody, and I'm going to kill you guys. I left out the part where Luke fucking Raiden dies, but not really, because he's an elder god, and he's like sending all of his boys to like try and stop this plan, but it's not working. And so he's like, I revoke my Elder God status so that I can go fight the Dragon King myself, because I can't intervene as an Elder God, but I can intervene as a regular God of Thunder. So I'm not an Elder God anymore, but I will be later again, probably. And he goes
Hold
and
my
does
seat.
and so he goes and does that and then dies, but he gets resurrected because Quan Chi needs him to fight the Dragon King, because he's too powerful for him. And so Quan Chi and Raiden and the resurrected Liu Kang, I think, is there for a second. They try to fight back the Dragon King, but they still can't. He's too strong. So Raiden releases his godly essence. I guess he can just do that, and it explodes like a big bomb, which destroys the Dragon King's army, and also Quan Chi and Raiden and Liu Kang again. But it doesn't matter because the Dragon King's too strong, and he survives the explosion. But Raiden also survives the explosion because he released his godly essence, but then his godly essence recoalesced back on Earth Realm, and so he's in the next game also.
Nice. Wow. He could have done that many times before, it seems like.
Anyway, the Dragon King is here now.
I got caught up on what happened to all the other dragons that were immortal still.
They're in the games. I mean, the logo's a dragon.
Yeah.
Mortal Kombat. They're in the games. They're around. They just do their own thing, I think, for the most part.
Are they like actual
They're
dragons?
actual dragons,
Okay.
yeah. Because remember, they were dragons, and then they got smaller
And then they got,
and more mortal.
Yeah, and like 4-armed guys.
Well, yeah, that's Dragon Bloodline. The Dragon King doesn't have 4 arms. He's just got.
Is he a dragon?
He's like a dragon-born human dragon guy.
Oh, okay, like D&D dragon.
Yeah, so he's got
okay.
like the dragon head and like the wings.
Okay, that's pretty cool.
And the scales, but he's still big, but
Yeah.
he's humanoid kind of big.
It's like he's furry-ish.
He's a scaly for sure.
Yeah.
So whatever. The next game is called Mortal Kombat Deception.
Disgrace.
Yeah. So everyone loses in Deadly Alliance. Like all the good guys are dead. The Dragon King's resurrected.
Yeah, that sounds like
his name's Onaga, by the way. It doesn't really matter.
Onaga.
Onaga.
Yeah, that sounds like kind of a bummer of a previous one.
Yeah, and so Onaga has Shinnok's amulet because he got it because he defeated Raiden in combat, and Raiden had it, right? Because at the end of MK4, when they defeat Shinnok, Raiden takes it back for real this time. But now the Dragon King has it. This is the most powerful artifact in all of the timeline, by the way, is Shinnok's amulet.
There are still several billion souls in it.
Right. It's very strong. So the Dragon King has it now. And so he's basically unstoppable. Everyone who could oppose him, the Deadly Alliance is no more. Oh, by the way, I said earlier that like the backstabbing and betrayal is like ridiculous to like a detrimental level. Obviously, at the end of Deadly Alliance, the Deadly Alliance turns on each other because each of them wants to be the main bad guy or whatever. And so that is what allowed the Dragon King to get resurrected, like without them noticing, because they were just fighting each other at that point. So everyone's turning on each other. The Dragon King Onaga is back. He is going to take over everything. Everyone's dead. He wants to invade all the realms. And to do so, he's going to invoke the ultimate ancient powers. Remember the Kami Dogu from the background lore that I said earlier that hasn't mattered up to this point? Because, spoiler, it shows up in this game for the first time ever.
I did miss some of that because I was distracted by Ethan's cat, Riley, on the screen.
Stop looking at that. Look at me. Look at me when I say he wants the Kami Dogu. Okay?
Yes.
Because that contains the essence of all the realms, and he's going to use the power of Shinnok's amulet to combine the Kami Dogu into one Kami Dogu, which will allow him to take over all the realms, which is what he wants to do. And if he does that, he doesn't need to do a Mortal Kombat because not even the Elder Gods are going to be able to stop him at that point. He's going to be way too powerful, okay? Because he'll have the power of the one being who, again, existed at one point and was stronger than, and then, you know, he split into 6 parts, and if he gets all 6 of those parts, he'll be at least that strong, which means he'll be able to defeat the Elder Gods, right? Fair enough? So,
Yeah.
to do so, he is going to... he can't do it himself, I guess, for plot reasons. And so he gets the help of a new guy who's named Shujinki.
Jinkies.
Shujinko.
Okay.
Yeah, Shujinko. Let me tell you. I wrote both. It
Sounds
doesn't
like a board game.
It's Shujinko. Shujinko is like the new Liu Kang because Liu Kang's dead now, so he's like a guy. He's just like some dude. But the Dragon King deceives Shujinko, which is where the name, the name of the game comes from. And he says you have to go collect all 6 of these Kamidogu for some reason, because I think it's important. I'm a big dragon guy, and so I have to be a good guy. And then he's like, okay, that sounds pretty right.
I'm convinced.
The Dragon King teaches Shujinko how to mimic other fighters, so he's a mirror fighter, with other movesets. And Raiden also, remember, resurrects from exploding himself. He recoalesces his godly energy, and he uses his godly powers to resurrect Liu Kang's evil revenant spirit to go take vengeance on the Dragon King Onaga, which he fails to do. But at this point, Raiden is like, he is angry, and he is like,
I gotta choose somebody else.
Yeah, he's doing a bunch of,
because I can't do it.
He's doing a bunch of like a little more morally ambiguous stuff. This is the like dark era of the Mortal Kombat, in case you didn't notice. And then, but that's only the revenant resurrection of Liu Kang, because Liu Kang's spirit doesn't exist within that revenant, because again, remember, in Netherrealm, your spirit is not in your corporeal form. Remember Ermac from before? Well, he's back.
Obviously.
Ermac is a ninja, but now in this one, he has the ability to channel souls, which is good because Liu Kang is only a soul now. So he channels his own essence through Ermac, and then they're able to dissociate the souls that are trapped inside Onaga's army, because remember, he has an immortal army, but apparently his immortal army is made by just shoving whatever soul into their new guy, and then that soul is subservient to him, necromancy stuff. But I guess with Ermac channeling Liu Kang's soul, they're able to dismember those so that they don't come back as a mortal army. And then Shujinko realizes the deception and is able to fight Onaga, and Onaga's like, you can't beat me, I'm more powerful than you. But he taught him how to do shadow clone mimicry technique,
shadow clone jutsu,
which allows him to beat Onaga with his own martial arts, and then he's not able to resurrect because of Ermac and Liu Kang's combination soul stopping powers. And also Raiden's there and is like, this is all going great, everyone's doing a great job.
And also Raiden's there.
And he was able to defeat them. And also there's a girl named Melina who is pretending to be Katana. Melina is obviously a color swap palette of Katana. She, if you recall, Katana is a princess of Adania. And so Melina is pretending to be Katana so she can help the Dragon King in his conquest, because she wants to vie for power, because she's jealous of Katana, who is like her sister. She grew up as her sister, but it's revealed that she's actually a literal clone of her sister. And so she doesn't like that, and she wants to take over Katana's role as princess leader of Edania, and that's why she allies with Onaga. But Katana figures this all out, and so she's fighting her and like defeats her or whatever. And anyway, it all ends with Onaga's defeated. Liu Kang is revenged. Ermac gets his name because all of these fighters are like secret fighters from previous games that are like revealed as like main fighters in later games. But there was one line of code in the original Mortal Kombat that was an error. And so Ermac is short for Error Macintosh because they programmed a thing wrong. And so it rendered as Ermac. And so people thought Ermac was a secret fighter that you could get. And then the developers were like, all right, whatever, we'll just make him a real person. And now he plays a
stupid.
Now he plays a plot role down here. So there's that. Cool. The Dragon King's defeated. Isn't that great?
Yeah.
But now Armageddon is among us because
among us,
actually one of the elder gods who's named King... one of the kings. I didn't even write the king's name down. It doesn't matter. At one point in time, there was a king and queen of Edania, and one of them was a prophet, and she was like, I predict in the future there's gonna be all of these mortal combatants, and they're gonna get way too strong and bring about Armageddon.
With a K.
With a K, obviously. And the king goes, don't worry, that'll never happen. We will create the fighter Blaze. And as long as Blaze lives, he will attract the fighters to him, and he will kill them. And so no one will get too powerful because Blaze
I remember this now.
Because Blaze will kill them. But then the queen's like, I'm having another prophecy. If one of our sons kills Blaze, then that means the apocalypse will happen. So Blaze is both preventing the apocalypse with his existence, but also will be the cause of the apocalypse because he exists. And if one of the king's children kill him. And at the end of the game, one of the king's children kills him. And that creates the apocalypse. And then the canonical ending of Armageddon isn't actually the canonical ending because at the beginning of MK9, which is the next game in the series, it undoes the ending of Armageddon. And basically what happened is the Armageddon happened, and the only two fighters left in the whole world are Raiden and Shao Kahn, who exists again, by the way. He got resurrected at one point because people just get resurrected all the time.
That's great for him.
So that all of those, the named ones like Armageddon and Deception and Deadly Alliance, those ones suck as far as like what they're. I don't know what story they're trying to tell, but it doesn't.
I don't know what story you have told us.
But
either,
it doesn't matter because in MK9, Raiden is fighting Shao Kahn. And Raiden is like, oh my god, I'm gonna die to Shao Kahn. Armageddon is among us. We're gonna die. What am I gonna do? Oh, I know what I'll do. I will use my Elder God powers, which I still have, I guess, at least a little bit of.
Forgot about that.
I'm going to project a message back in time to create an alternate timeline to stop the Armageddon from happening. And I'm going to give this message to the only person I can trust, me from the past. I'm going to send my past self a message to say, you need to stop the Armageddon. But instead of defining what I need you to do in the past, I'm going to send the message back in time that simply states, he must win. And that, I guess, is going to prevent the Armageddon from happening. And he sends the message back in time to his past self, and his past self gets the message, and the power of the message is so strong that it begins to crack his amulet that he has. The amulet is the picture from Back to the Future with him and his family, and if the amulet is destroyed, Armageddon will happen. But if he can undo Armageddon, the amulet will turn back into his regular amulet, okay?
Raiden sending himself a note that's like, he must win. It's like, when I have a really great idea late at night and I have to write it down, and then in the morning, I'm like, What did I mean by
talking
what,
about?
What
This
did
is
I
insane.
mean by she jingles the bells?
Why couldn't I just write down more? Okay, he must win. So, we're back at MK1, the original Mortal Kombat. Remember when the Mortal Kombat tournament is happening and
when the mortals combated?
and Outrealm is almost going to win? And so, obviously, Raiden gets this message from himself in the future, and he's like, I must have been talking about Liu Kang, my boy, because we need to stop Outworld from invading.
My boy.
And so I will make sure that Liu Kang wins the Mortal Kombat, which he does. A lot of these events are playing out almost identically because he sends himself a message that he interprets as to just do the thing he was already gonna do.
Did he just make a time loop?
In the original games. So Liu Kang wins the tournament again, stops Outworld from invading Earthrealm. Again, they get to the part where Shao Kahn is going to do the resurrection on his wife, and so he can invade Earthrealm by finding a cheeky little loophole. There's a lot of bullshit here, okay? Obviously, they're trying to reboot the series in a way that makes sense. And so they wanted to keep the original lore from the first few games, more or less, but change it enough so that they can have somewhere to go in the future, I guess.
We can't write ourselves into the end.
Right.
We have a franchise.
And so eventually what happens is that there's a couple things that change. Raiden prevents Smoke from getting turned into a robot. That doesn't really matter, but he's not like there's less robots now.
Oh, that's
There's
good.
less robots.
In MK2 when they go to Outworld to do the tournament, Raiden is still trying to figure out the meaning of the message, and so he has Kung Lao do the fight instead of Liu Kang, and Kung Lao dies to Shao Kahn, and so Liu Kang gets revenge on Shao Kahn in that tournament by doing a kill on him, which doesn't matter because he gets resurrected again by Quan Chi, because the events of Mortal Kombat 3 have to happen where he resurrects his wife then, and eventually we get to the point where Raiden realizes that the message was that Shao Kahn has to win the fight against Liu Kang because Shao Kahn needs to be able to successfully invade Earthrealm so that the Elder Gods will step in and allow him to defeat Shao Kahn before he is able to kill everybody and absorb all of their essence and revive Shinnok and do all of that bullshit.
See, that's really on Raiden for not being more clear.
Well, yeah, just be like, let the Elder Gods kill Quan Chi or Shao Kahn or whatever.
He's only got enough Elder God time travel text message for 3 words.
Yeah, and none of them can be
they
a proper
could have just
noun.
said his name.
It has to make
What's
grammatic
his name must
sense.
win.
You can't. You
Can't
do a sentence fragment.
Raiden was doing the beautiful mind. He was like, now if I send myself Shao Kahn must win, then I'll allow him to win the first tournament, which he can't do because then he would take over the world fairsy squaresies and the Elder Gods wouldn't get involved. So I need to send myself something convoluted so that the first thing will happen, but then I'll figure out that the second thing actually shouldn't happen.
That's actually fair. He can't just say that. He can't say Shao Kahn wins because then they would lose the thing. So we go back to MK3, which Liu Kang prevented Shao Kahn from completely merging the realms. But in this one, they want to let him try to complete the realm merging because that's when the Elder Gods will step in and be like, okay, this is actually no good. And so Raiden is like, no, Liu Kang, I understand the message from me in the future now. You have to let him win. And Liu Kang's like, no way, I have to defend Earthrealm. And so Raiden accidentally kills Liu Kang trying to prevent him from fighting.
Accidentally?
Well, he doesn't want to. He's like remorseful, but he accidentally kills Liu Kang to try and prevent him from fighting Shao Kahn. And Shao Kahn eventually tries to merge the things, and then Raiden gets to kill him because he now has Elder
My
God
dog,
permission
I'll
to
put
do
him
so.
down.
And that's great, but then all of the Shinnok stuff still happens because everyone is still dead again, and Quan Chi was able to absorb all of the soul energy again. And so now we get to MKX, or Mortal Kombat 10 or Mortal Kombat X, in which case we're back at the point where like Earthrealm was in like weakened by this invasion by Outrealm, but now the Netherrealm guys are sending demons and stuff to fuck around in Earthrealm and basically take it over, which they didn't do Mortal Kombat, so I don't know what the deal is there. But
Yeah.
anyway, this one's all about like Mortal Kombat babies. This one is one of those ones where it's like we did a soft reboot and you have all the characters you like, and a bunch of those characters had babies, and they're like the next generation of fighters
With like each other, or
some of them. So there's
Okay.
Sonya and Johnny Cage. Johnny Cage is one of the like regular human fighters who's an actor, but I guess he's good at fighting.
Okay.
And so he and Sonya have a baby. And whatever.
This is just like my Fire Emblems.
Anyway, in this one, Raiden is able to trap Shinnok within his own amulet with the help of Fujin, his brother, remember?
No.
And then they're able to defeat Quan Chi, so he can't get resurrected anymore. A lot of the combatants are now zombies, but the combatant babies fight back the zombies and turn them back into regular people again with the help of Raiden.
Mhm.
And now there's a new leader of Outworld called Kotal Khan. And he has
Kotal
his
Khan.
queen Devora. And they still want to do the invasion strategy, but they're not going to wait for Mortal Kombat. So they want to get Shinnok's amulet so that they have enough power to just invade. Because again, Shinnok's amulet is now infused with enough power to defy the Elder Gods, I guess.
I was gonna say, but they're not allowed to do that. It's a no-no.
Those rules are getting kind of thrown out the window, huh?
Yeah.
Weird. And so Devora is able to get Shinnok's amulet, and then she's able to revive Shinnok, and then Shinnok fuses with the Earthrealm core energy, which corrupts the Earthrealm core. But then Raiden is able to defuse the tainted energy from the Earthrealm core and infuse it into himself, and he becomes Dark Raiden. But he's still the defender of Earthrealm. He still wants to defend Earthrealm, but now he's like hardcore about it.
But
like
now
he's
goth.
yeah, he's like beheading people.
Oh.
Well, his eyes glow red now instead of white.
Okay. Spooky.
And so Raiden absorbs Shinnok, and Outrealm has been defeated. And now that Raiden has killed Quan Chi and Shinnok, there's a power vacuum in Netherrealm. And who fills that power vacuum? That's right. It's the Wraith version of Liu Kang and Katana, who are now the like king and queen ruler of Netherrealm. And
obviously,
and Raiden is like, you don't fuck with Earthrealm. You hear me? And they're like, okay, man, we're just gonna be the leader of Netherrealm now. So this is all the alternate timeline that Raiden made by projecting his mind back into the past.
right.
Remember the Titans? Remember that movie?
The movie? Yeah, vaguely. About football?
So there are no more Titans. They all got wiped out by the Elder Gods. But there is one Titan, and her name is Chronica. And can you guess what she's the Titan of? That's right. She is the Keeper of Time. And she's really pissed off that Raiden
You guys messed it up.
He's pissed off. She's pissed off that Raiden has A, undid a timeline, and B, killed her son. That's right. Shinnok is the son of Kronika, the Titan, and she's really mad that Raiden killed her son. So she's like, I'm gonna erase you from all realities because I have a artifact known as the Hourglass, which allows me to create and destroy timelines at will. And so I will get rid of you, Raiden.
Pretty powerful.
And I'm going to do a thing. Fucking hell! I'm gonna do a thing called the Time Storm. I'm just gonna mix all the timelines up right now.
I thought for sure you were gonna say Time Warp, like the song.
This is the time. This is the game where we realize that all the timelines, you know, all of the fighter endings that happened in each game, those all happened in different timelines. And she goes, I'm going to do the old time storm and I'm going to combine all the times. And that's going to allow me to erase Raiden from every timeline.
And your canon. And your canon.
And so everyone is here now. All of the fighters, all the younger version of the fighters, all of the alternate baby timeline version of the fighters, all of the Shadow Clone fighters, all of the living and dead version of the fighters, they're all merging into one big time stream because Kronika's like, Raiden, I'm gonna take you out in every time.
Yeah, I think this is the origin of the phrase "everyone is here."
Yeah, this is the first time that this ever
Everyone
happened.
is here.
That's Daddy Sakurai said.
Yay!
So when she merges the timelines, she can't get rid of Raiden yet because he's still a god. He's pretty strong, but she undoes Dark Raiden. Dark Raiden doesn't exist anymore. He's gone, but regular Raiden does exist now, and he's trying to fix the timelines.
Right.
So he goes to the Elder Gods, and he's like, you guys gotta help. This shit's going down. And they're like, we can't. She's a Titan. Titans are stronger than the Elder Gods. I don't know how we won the war, but she is more powerful than we are.
Listen,
time. Sorry to mess with that.
Yeah, we fucked up all those other Titans, but this one controls time. And so we just kind of thought, leave that one alone.
It's very hard to, put timeline nonsense in your fictional stories and keep track of it and have everything make sense. So we don't want to mess with that.
So then Raiden's like, well, what am I going to do? Well, don't worry, because Shinnok had a twin sister. And that never came up before. And so Shinnok's twin sister, Cetrion, is like, oh, my mom's going crazy, huh? Well, there's an artifact that my mom has called the Crown of Souls that gives her power. If she gets the Crown of Souls, she will have enough power to undo you, Raiden, and do whatever she wants in the timeline forever.
Wait. Is it the Crown of Souls that's giving her power, or the Hourglass of
The Hourglass
Chungus?
lets her delete timelines, but she can't delete all the timelines because they're all merged now into one. So if she gets that crown, she's gonna have complete dominion over time, but she doesn't have it. Cetrion says, and Cetrion is gonna help Raiden get it back because of the goodness of her heart. She's Shinnok's twin sister, so maybe she's the opposite of Shinnok. But it was a betrayal, a backstab, because she wanted to get the crown of souls so that she could be powerful. Oh my god, who could have seen this coming? Well, it doesn't matter because she reveals that the Crown of Souls is hidden in the island stronghold of Shang Tsung. That's right. Shang Tsung had the crown because he was able to absorb souls. And so he could put the souls in the crown. So he was doing that because he wanted to have ultimate power. But he's gone. And he's never coming back. So they're like, we got to get this crown, which contains all the souls that were ever absorbed by Shang Tsung. And Cetrion betrays them, but it doesn't matter because eventually Kronika gets her crown back. Uh-oh. That's bad.
Yeah, that seems bad.
So Kronika's got the crown, and she's gonna converge all the time streams and she's gonna get rid of Raiden, and she's just gonna fuck everything up. And that's okay though, because when she converged the time streams in order to do this master plan of hers, she brought the fighters from all times and realities together, which means that our boy Liu Kang exists. But not only that, Liu Kang exists as himself from the old games, but he also exists as a revenant version of himself from the dumb new games. And so when she converges the time streams, she converges Liu Kang with his nether realm version of himself to create like god level Liu Kang. And then Raiden
comes back to that guy.
And then he's evil because of the Netherrealm version of himself. But then Raiden infuses that infusion with his god essence. And so by doing this, he creates Fire God Liu Kang, who is powerful enough to fight Kronika and stop her from destroying time or some shit.
All right.
Okay? And he's strong enough to do this now because he's like really strong. And so Kronika uses her powers and sends them back to the beginning of time where they have one final big fight. And Fire God Liu Kang fights Kronika, and you better believe that what happens is that Liu Kang defeats Kronika. But
yeah, what?
Yeah.
But what?
But there's story DLC to this game because Liu Kang is trying to undo all of this crazy time bullshit that's happened, that's merged all the time streams and made everything dumb. He just wants there to be a simple plot for a game, and he's trying his best. But what he realizes is that he's not the only one who is able to survive Kronika's time storm, because other people who have spiritual powers were also able to bolster themselves to defend against this. One of them, the Native American fighter that they have in some of the games, was able to use his in-tuneness with the spirits to not be deleted by time magic, which I'm a big fan of.
Do you know his name?
It's probably something like Tomahawk Jones or something.
I think it's something like Wolf or something. Let's see, Night Wolf.
It's Night Wolf.
That's pretty cool.
Yes.
He's a Native American shaman, so he's obviously able to survive the time storm.
Obviously.
That's great. Another person who's able to survive the time storm is, of course, Shang Tsung. He's been there the whole time. And so all of them have to have their little unlikely alliance where they're like, all right, guys, we have to work together to steal the crown of souls from the past version of Kronika so that she couldn't do all of this bullshit in the first place. And so Shang Tsung's like, oh, I'm pretty strong. I could help you do that, I bet. And Liu Kang's like, okay, and lets him do that because he's trying to like hold time together while they go out and do this. And of course, Shang Tsung betrays Liu Kang and claims the crown of souls for himself and becomes god level Shang Tsung. And so we have the final fight between Fire God Liu Kang and God Shang Tsung, crown of souls Shang Tsung. And it's just like the first game in the final battle, and it's awesome, except this time they're two gods fighting over the outcome of the time stream.
Of like the universe.
Of the whole multiplex verse. And guess what happens? That's right, Liu Kang wins again. And now,
there's going to be another game,
and now that Kronika is gone from all the timelines, and now that the Crown of Souls is no longer a thing because it was destroyed with Shang Tsung, Liu Kang claims the hourglass. He's now powerful enough to use it, I guess, because he's like an ultimate god level, Super Saiyan, ex-Super Saiyan god. And he uses that to restart the timeline. And resets time back to the beginning, so far back that Raiden is just a normal man. He's not a god at all. And his good buddy Kung Lao is there. And him and Raiden are just farmers now, except they're also mortal combatants still. And a bunch of all the other characters that you've come to know and love are there. But I think that their stories might be just a little bit different this time, because the only thing that carries over as we now come to the game Mortal Kombat 1, which is the name of the game, not to be confused with the original Mortal Kombat, is that it is revealed that Fire God Shang Tsung has put all of these people back into this new world, and he wants to remake the new world, but make it more peaceful this time, and not have evil people always invading Earthrealm. And this time, Katana and Melina are actually sisters, and they're the rulers of Edania. And also this time, Sub-Zero and Scorpions are brothers. And they have some friction, but they're still brothers, and they love each other.
Well, that's sweet.
And Raiden's there, but this time he's not a god. And Liu Kang's there, but this time he is a god. So that's pretty crazy.
Reversal.
And that is.
And Raiden's there. I think we've said that more than once.
And probably Goro's there. Everybody loves Goro.
Maybe.
Everyone is here.
Anyway, if you want the story of Mortal Kombat 1, go figure it out yourself, you degenerate. God damn.
Wait, so that's it?
Yeah, that's the story.
Except
of Mortal Kombat.
there's a new game.
The newest Mortal Kombat game is called Mortal Kombat 1. It just recently came out.
Okay.
And that's the story. Nothing that happened in the original Mortal Kombat games happened in this one, except the fact that Liu Kang is Fire God Liu Kang now. So I could have just told you that. You would have been fine.
Wow.
But you wouldn't have known how he got so powerful, because he
Yeah.
was combined with an alternate reality version of himself that was a revenant, dark, nether realm version of himself that got combined together by Kronika's time powered and then infused with the godly essence of Raiden to turn him into a good guy, which made him into a fire god, Liu Kang. And then he defeated Shang Tsung tonight. Tonight. And then was able to restart the time stream with the power of the hourglass.
Do you?
Okay. Yes, Ethan and I are both like struggling with words too.
It's just, do you maybe feel like we, as a species, are like slowly evolving our way out of the ability to tell a story?
If you look at some of the old stories, they're also pretty complicated. And in fairness, some of the like newer, quote unquote, newer religions are like the same thing, because they have to kind of redux the old stuff, but they need to keep enough of it so that they still feel invested. They're like, and then that's when Jesus came to America, and they're all like, "Whoa, I know Jesus. I feel like I'm invested now."
You're not making me feel better about this.
I think we're speed running new age religions. I think we're rapidly approaching the Scientology of video game storytelling, and we will very soon have to have a reckoning where we basically go back to paganism and just be like, I don't know, there's like one guy, but he's not a guy, he's a deer, and he's in charge of nature, and he's neither benevolent nor malevolent, he just is. And it's like, okay, cool. And he's
like the simplicity.
And that's Doom Guy, and it's like nobody cares what else goes on. There's like, that's great. I love that.
I feel like I have the new prime example of a franchise in a hell of its own making in the writer's
another
room.
realm. Yes.
Just due to like this is the problem with making a bunch of separate games, with being like, well, it has to have a nice conclusive ending, and then being like, well, we have to make another one because it's so popular, and then having to keep adding on. That's what happened here.
Games where their characters canonically die every time, but then
they were too popular that they had to bring them back.
Yeah, again,
I know that Mortal Kombat is not alone in what it's done here as far as popular medias, but this is probably one of the most egregious examples.
The first few Mortal Kombats are like kind of kitschy in that like old video game kind of way, where it was like, okay, it's like a silly thing. There's like a rules you gotta do to invade a realm. That's kind of fun. And then basically whenever you start having multiple timelines, that's when I'm like, you goofed up.
You goofed
somewhere.
Up. Whenever you looking at you, Marvel, whenever you introduce the multiverse, you've inadvertently caused yourself a lot of writing problems. They already
started with their whole like Kang thing.
Yes.
Isn't Kang supposed to be their big enemy now or whatever? And
yeah,
it's like, I don't
know.
care about Kang.
I stopped keeping track. I stopped paying attention.
Kang?
Yeah. Oh my god.
Oh my god.
We found
it all.
Oh
my
gosh.
We figured it all out.
Also, for the name of the series, there certainly was not a lot of mortals combating. It was kind of a lot of gods.
They're mostly mortals. It's really just Raiden.
Mostly Mortal Kombat.
Mostly Mortals combat.
I don't know. Can you really call them mortals if they just keep coming
I know,
back
that's
to
why I was
life?
like, but they also come back and like get turned into like robots and race.
They've got necromancers. He studied hard to be able to put a soul back in a body. Give him some credit.
I'm just saying. Yeah.
I'm just saying.
Sort of Mortal Kombat.
They did that amulet thing for a while with the Kami Dogu, but that was just like a weird one-off thing. But that's like part of their genesis. Whatever. I don't care, man. I got through this one. I did not think I was gonna.
You did get through it. I have to say, this is a first for me on this podcast, that I don't think I could ever repeat a single part of this to anyone. Like, I don't think I actually learned anything here.
I learned something, but it wasn't about
I learned
the story.
that Mortal Kombat is mostly Mortal Kombat.
mostly mortals.
I learned that
That's it's
right. I learned that there's just some guy, and there was one guy at the beginning of it all, but also some other ones.
That's right.
I learned that y'all haven't seen the Mortal Kombat movie, so we'll just do that, and that'll probably be at least a tighter explanation.
Yeah, we'll make a mini or something.
I would hope.
Well, I'll tell you what, guys. What I can say right now is finish them, and them is the episode, because that's right, we are at the end of this episode. We want to thank you guys a lot for listening to the podcast. This one was
This one was difficult.
This one wasn't easy, okay? I was thinking to myself, we just had the Doom one. We just had 10 episodes of Saw that, were put together. Let's do an easy one. I know Mortal Kombat has silly lore, and then I started watching, all of the think piece videos and stuff like that, and they all start with Mortal Kombat has one of the most convoluted lores in video game history, and I went,
does.
oh, great. We've barely touched on any of it, but I guess if you want us to do more Mortal Kombat, let us know. Otherwise,
no, don't. Well, I mean, if I won't be on it, It's...
Yeah. So yeah, you've sort of washed your hands clean of this one. But thank you guys for listening. We do really appreciate when you leave us those thumbs up, those subscribes, those likes, those positive reviews. We really like the positive reviews, especially on the podcasting platforms. And we just like to have you guys hang out with us. Tell your friends about us. We've almost at 50 episodes. We're getting there pretty quick. So a lot of lore we've covered.
Yeah. If you are a fan of Mortal Kombat, tell us in the comments, how do you do it? How do you keep up?
How I don't think everyone knows the Mortal Kombat story.
Okay,
I don't
well,
think
then
they know
maybe
the whole
that's
thing.
their answer.
That's what this is for.
Yeah,
If you
this-
like
no
Mortal
doubt.
Kombat, did you know all the lore? And if you did, how?
Why?
Why?
When?
Why
Right.
even? And when?
Right. I feel like a lot of them are just gonna answer. I just like Scorpion and Sub-Zero, and I just pay attention to that part.
I mean, same. I love those little guys. We of course want to thank Galestorm Kitsune for doing the artwork for the channel, and we want to thank Apajo for doing the intro and outro music for the show. I'm gonna go and absorb human souls, until I'm ready to do this again in a couple weeks. But until then, I've been CJ.
I've been Ethan.
I've been Lizard X Lizard.
And this has been. I'm gonna.
No,
do
everybody do your best Mortal Kombat
yeah,
scream.
we can do, but we
Blast it out
don't.
of the.
Don't do it into the mic.
No, wait. Okay, everyone do your best Mortal Kombat scream whisper.
Oh, okay. Should we do it at the same time?
Yeah,
or should we
yeah.
do one
Should
Yeah,
you
all
cut
together.
out into the credits right before we do it?
after?
No,
No, we're gonna do it.
We're all gonna do
that's
it.
Stupid. We're gonna do it for real. All right.
Ready?
Are you ready? Yeah.
1, 2, 3.
Mortal Kombat.
All right. There you go. That's audio butter.